Today we came here to see His Excellency, the Second Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua off. We know that he had communicated that he is leaving for a tour of the U.S. He will be going to different states in the U.S. and speaking to Kenyans in diaspora to take our rallying call that we have to send this government home, and we also would want to engage with them so that they are part and parcel of the government that will be formed in 2027.
Would you say his fears were unfounded because you've seen him sail through the process? What would you tell people?
I don't think they were, because if you recall, we have seen a chronology of events where the DCP youth leader Kiambu has been arrested, rearrested in a very dramatic manner within the court precincts. We have seen the national youth leader, chair DCP, Wanjiru arrested and rearrested again in a similar dramatic manner. We have seen the member of parliament for Manyata arrested in a very dramatic manner. And I do believe that those were fears that perhaps the government or the state wanted perhaps to instill fear in him. But as we know that the investigations they've conducted have been shambolic. There is nothing that they have been able to come up with. And that is why we have seen him sail through safely. And we hope he will have a safe flight.
Just one question for me. There's been an outburst from the president today about some quarters wanting to topple his government. I don't know what reactions would come from your side, because he seems to be accusing the opposition.
I wonder what quarters those are, because I do recall very well in recent interviews, Rigathi Gachagua has indicated that there are only two ways to have the president, William Samoei Ruto, vacate office. Either he resigns or he is voted out of office in 2027. So I don't know who wants to topple his government. And this is something that the government has been selling, an agenda that perhaps, or propaganda that they are propagating to isolate voices that are dissenting towards the government. So it is just propaganda from the president, and he spoke in a manner that was very, very underwhelming for a head of state, who at this point, when Kenyans have lost their lives, you know, over 31 during Sapa protest, over 13 during the Gen Z protest, so much loss and so much damage to property. We needed a more empathetic president, but we saw the president who came out to speak at the first instance when we had the 2024 protest of June 25th. So that is the president that spoke today, you know, the anger and the bitterness, because I believe that he feels that he has lost grip, he has lost traction, he has lost even the propaganda war, and the Kenyan people right now have refused to be divided and segregated in terms of tribe.
Would you have the details of the itinerary of the DP as it is for the US? How many days will he be away? Which places will he be visiting? He'll
be there for more than a month. And what I'd say is that he's going to visit several states, Delaware, Seattle, Washington, and quite a number of them, and engaging Kenyans in diaspora, like I've said, because we know they send quite an amount, a tidy sum, and contribute to the economy, but we also want them to be able to come home and help rebuild home, help give us the ideas that they've seen in the West, and maybe perhaps even implement them, because what we've seen with political appointments, there are disappointments. But when we have professionals, people who've seen it work, people who know how the system should be running in other countries that are developed democracies, perhaps we can have change back home.
What's the significance of this outing for the party and for the fold?
First of all, we have heard on many occasions, you know, allies of the president claim that Rigathi Gachagua is only a Wamunyoro person. He does not live Mount Kenya region. Then he left the region, went to coastal region, went to Kambani, went to Western Kenya. And perhaps they thought that he cannot go beyond Mount Kenya region. And the optics of this trip is going to show that Rigathi Gachagua is a man who wants to engage every Kenyan as long as they are interested in setting an agenda that will see a formation of a government that will serve and listen to the Kenyan people.
Mheshimiwa, in your general's absence, there are those who feel that then you will be orphaned What do we expect from this particular team politically in terms of keeping the Ruto regime in check?
I think you've heard even from my colleagues through the laughter that we are foot soldiers, and Rigathi Gachagua has also emboldened us in our pursuit for justice, in our pursuit for proper checks and balances against the government, and I can tell you that we will put up a good fight. We will ensure that we keep the government in check. We will continue with the one-term rallying call. We will continue with implementing the agenda for Kenyans in our respective constituencies and counties. And we will also ensure that we call out the government and defend, in particular, the young people of this republic that now want to be branded as terrorists by a president. We know that they want to charge young people under POTA. POTA is a Prevention of Terrorism Act. That is an act that is very serious. Kahawa Law Courts is a special court that was set apart and state-funded, funded by the taxpayers' monies, to do very serious work. And we know even in the USA that we have sometimes even mass murders, destruction of property. We never see those people charged under terrorism, because terrorism is a serious crime. You cannot call the young people of Kenya terrorists for simply exercising their rights under Article 37 of the Constitution.
I think I just also wanted to add, you asked whether, we will be orphaned. I think it's also important to note that there is an emerging force, united opposition. And, we have many leaders other than just Rigathi Gachagua. And we will continue going around the country, telling Kenyans that, this regime is the one responsible for what is happening, for the failures that we are seeing in the country. So to that extent, I would say, the work continues. We will not be orphans. This thing is now, this movement is way, way bigger, than just, His Excellency. He is just one among many. And also, as you have seen, this thing is now about Kenyans. I think this movement now belongs to Kenyans. That doesn't belong to one tribe or to one region. It is a movement. The one-term movement belongs to all Kenyans who are feeling that they cannot take things anymore, and they are all looking forward to 2027 to vote this government out. All the government can realize what is happening and remove itself earlier.
Thank you.
Just one question. Just one. From the opposition fall, is it one term? Is it half term? Because it had different terms coming from.
Whatever comes earlier. Whatever comes earlier, I would say so, because if you look at the anger of Kenyans, and today looking at the response that the president gave, you can tell a government in frustration, a government that has lost grip, a government whose only remaining tool is oppression and violence, and their way out. The president can, just realize the mood of the country and realize that not very many people want him to continue leading them, and he could voluntarily resign. That would maybe give it a half term. But if he goes to his full term, 2027, I don't see any other way out. It will be a one term.
For microphone testing, one time, okay. Kuna swali?
Ueleze ni kwa nini siku hii ni ya umuhimu pande yenu, na ni kwa nini, inamaanisha nini, na kidogo tueleze Rigathi atakwenda kufanya nini pande yenu.
Ya kwanza niseme ya kwamba kama kawaida kujae mbira hondi uondoka mbira kuwaga. Na mnamo tarehe 2022 Rigathi Gachagua aliingilia mlangoni kwa kupiga hondi, na ndio maana tuko hapa kumwaka, kwa sababu tunajua ni kiongozi wetu. Na niseme ya kwamba anaenda Marekani kwa sababu kuna wale watu ambao wanaitwa diaspora, kuna watoto wetu wako kule, kuna Wakenya wako kule. Kwa hivyo ni vizuri pia kuwatembelea, kwa sababu hata wakati wa kupiga kura wale pia wanapiga kura. Na niseme ya kwamba nimesikia malalamiko ya kwamba watu wapinzani wanasema hii na kusema hii. Kazi ya upinzani ni kukosoa serikali. Huwezi mchinja mbata kwa kosa la kuharisha, mbata wote huharisha. Kwa hivyo sisi kama upinzani tutaendelea pia kukosoa serikali mpaka mwisho. Na niseme ya kwamba umuhimu wa serikali ni kuongoza inavyofaa, kwa sababu nimesikia rais akisema ya kwamba Uhuru Kenyatta hakusumbuliwa na Kibaki hakusumbuliwa. Na kidogo alisahau kutanja president mmoja anaitwa Moi ambaye hakusumbuliwa na mtu yeyote. Nisema alisumbuliwa na upinzani waliokuwa wanajiita Pentagon akiwepo mmoja wao, na ndio maana kulikuwa nusu mkate. Nimkumbusha kwamba kama amesahau, Uhuru Kenyatta alisumbuliwa tena na maandamano ya upinzani, na ndio kukawa na handshake ambayo pia ilimkanganya na kutoka kwa serikali. Ndio maana Uhuru alikuwa anasema anatangatanga. Kwa hivyo maandamano sio ati inatoka kwa jamii moja, ni watu wote ambao wameshindwa, na Waswahili husema kimbembacho kikivunja ni nafuu kwa mchukuzi. Kwa hivyo kimbembacho ndo kinavunja, na ndio maana tunapiga kelele na tutaendelea kupiga kelele. Na nikimalizia nimwambie rais ya kwamba uhitaji wake sahihi ni kuongoza nchi na kulinda maisha na kulinda mali. Na nimesema jana, nitarudia hivyo kwamba umuhimu wa sukari hauko kwa mtu ambaye anakunywa supu. Vile vile umuhimu wa supu wa chumvi hauna umuhimu kwa mtu ambaye anakunywa chai. Kwa hivyo umuhimu wa uongozi ni kuongoza kwa njia inayofaa. Na nikimalizia niseme ya kwamba vitisho hakuna kitu itafanya. Na hakuna haja ya kufuata simba kwa silaha butu, kwa sababu ukija kuambia mambo ambao unajua kabisa itafanyika, Wakenya wanaona tu kama ni uongo. Kama ni watu kushikwa, kitu ambao tunaogopa kushikwa ni kushikwa na wazimu. Kushikwa na polisi tuko sawa, kushikwa na homa tushaishikwa na homa, lakini mambo mengine ya vitisho tuache. Nchi inafaa iongozwe uongozi mzuri kwa msingi unaofaa.